Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited that you're here today. Today, you're in for a great treat. We have Jessica Shipley, who's one of our registered dietitians, diabetes educators. She has her master's of science in nutrition as well. She's worked at Stanford for a long time, over a decade. And she teaches classes. She has one-on-one counseling sessions. And she's also a mother and a chef. And today she's going to share 3 different salads that she has prepared for us. And you're in for a treat because it's not like your normal salad that you get recommended. So without further ado, here's Jessica.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much, Leah, for the introduction. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and watching our presentation. So I was thinking, as we were preparing for this talk today, I was like, we are always talking to our diabetes population about eating more vegetables, and it's summer and salads are so great. But then, when we think about salads, it's often like, we think about having to eat a lot of lettuce and greens, which is great. But sometimes, we want to think about how do we spice our salads up a little bit with not having to use all the lettuce all the time. So today I am going to share with you 3 different salads that are not your average, green salads, but utilizing lots of vegetables. And I want to show you some things about how you can do to really flavor up your not average salad and use it as something that you can enjoy. So we're going to share with you the ingredients on the screen. So as I'm listing them off, you can also look at the recipe. The recipes are going to be available, so that if you tune into our website, you can always check those out. But my very first one that we're going to make, it's going to be a fresh Greek salad. What I really love about this salad, one, is it's carb controlled, so it is great for when you're watching your carbs. This salad can be made ahead of time, as all of the salads that I'm going to share today. And so that's always the nice thing, is some of these salads, as they sit, actually taste better the next day. So all those flavors have some time to melt. But our fresh Greek salad, we can use lots of tomatoes. So we're going to do some tomatoes. Great to use summer tomatoes if you have a garden, you have this available. We'll use some cucumbers, some red onion, and I'm going to share a trick with you about what we can do with red onions. We'll use some Kalamata olives, some feta, and I'm going to make a dressing with red wine vinegar, lemon juice, oregano. And then we can always, and some olive oil, and then top it with some ground pepper. All right, so let me show you how to assemble this salad. So here, I already have a lot of this stuff has been pre-cut. And so I think when you think about salads, there's no cooking involved. It's really not in dishes. You need a cutting board, a knife, and a big bowl to mix it, and then something to mix your dressing in. So what I have here is I just have about a pint of tomatoes that we chopped. My daughter actually helped me do some of the prep. Fun way to get your kids involved. So my daughter actually helped do a lot of chopping. So we have some tomatoes that are they're cut in half. Nothing is in here yet at this point. Next, I'm going to add my ingredients. So I have our cucumbers. This is a total of 2 Persian cucumbers that are just sliced. I just slice them in circles and then dice them in half. So they're kind of like little moon shapes. So perfect bite size for your fork size. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in here. So that this is going to add a nice crunch to the salad. And then I also have some Kalamata olives. It's about a 1/4 cup of Kalamata olives. This is what's going to add that nice salty bite, but it's not excessive amounts of Kalamata olives. And of course, if you don't like them, you can leave them out, or you can use less. So we'll add in the Kalamata olives. I just dropped them on the floor. And then I have about a 1/4 cup of some fresh feta, which I'm going to add to my salad as well. So those are our big ingredients there. And then I also am going to add some, if we're doing our fresh Greek salad, we're going to put some red onions. This is really thinly sliced red onion. I think a big complaint sometimes with red onions is they have that really strong kind of pungent bite to it. And a trick that you can do with red onions is you can slice them how you'd like them to be, whatever, if you like them thin or larger. And then you can actually soak them in water for about 30 minutes, and it really takes off some of that pungent flavor that they give off. And then you just drain that water and rinse them, and then you can just put your red onions in your salad. Another thing that you can do with red onions is you can take some acid, like some vinegar or some lemon juice, and also just soak it in some lemon juice or some vinegar, and that also can change the flavor profile so they're not so strong. So I just soaked these in water. and then drain them, and then they're ready to go. So I'm gonna add those. The salad is already looking really good with all that color. You can see it here. I'm gonna give it a stir. Okay, so lots of flavor in here. We got the salty from the cheese and the Calmont olives, lots of crunch from the cucumbers and the onion. So it looks really good. I'm gonna show you here what that looks like. No lettuce.
Yum. Look at all those colors and textures.
No lettuce in this. All right, so then we're gonna make the dressing, and then that can really soak in these flavors, and it's gonna taste really good. I always keep some of my dressing staples on hand, and you could use the same dressing that we're gonna put in the salad for a lot of different things. If you're just gonna put it on just plain vegetables, you can do this, or make a large batch of it, and you can make other salads. You can use this for other salads too. So I'm going to take about half of a lemon. I have this nice little handy tool to squeeze some lemon juice out with the lemon in the juice squeezer. Let me get this so you can see this here. I'm going to try not to spray lemon juice all over myself here. And we'll just squeeze out about half of the lemon. And these are really juicy lemons. Some of them are very juicy, but I just got about a tablespoon of lemon juice here. So I got that. All right, and then we're going to do about 2 tablespoons of some red wine vinegar. If you like more of the balsamic vinegar, you could do that. If you like white vinegar, you could do that too, but this is going to add some of that acid flavor. So this is the one I kind of eyeball when I'm making salad dressings. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon of, I have some oregano. So I'll just do about a tablespoon of oregano in here. And then a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So something that you could do with a lot of dressings, you generally want to do about a 1/3, or you want to do like a 1/4 part acid or vinegar, and then the rest of it to be your olive oil. So I'm going to mix this up really well. It smells really good. You can smell the lemon and that oregano. So I'm kind of just emulsifying together. Here's my dressing. And then we're going to drizzle it on the salad here. I'll let you see that a little closer. So I'm just going to pour it on. Right. And I'm not actually going to add any salt to the salad because we already have, you could if you needed to, but I would say you're getting lots of flavor from the lemon and from that Calmont olive. You actually don't need to add any salt. When we're using things acidic like lemon often provides kind of a salty essence. And so if you're following a lower sodium eating plan, one of my tips I share with our patients a lot is just to keep some lemons around, squeeze lemon on your salads or on your food, and it really helps to control, using added salt to things to avoid that. I'm going to mix this together. So this is, excuse me, this is actually ready to eat right now. We can also let it sit for 30 minutes or so and let those flavors marinate together. But here we go. We have our first salad that we made. This is our this is our fresh Greek salad with all those great ingredients, lots of color. We don't need to add any lettuce to this. So this can sit for a couple days in the fridge and you can use this as your meal, or you could use this as a side to something else. In terms of the ingredients, because I did say it's carb controlled, you can have, this makes about 4 servings here, and it's providing about 9 grams of carbs and about 5 grams of protein. If you wanted to use this as a meal, you can certainly bump up the protein by adding a serving of salmon or some tofu. You can add some chickpeas to this or some type of beans to bump your protein up. But here we go. There's our first salad done and ready. I'm going to move this over to the side and I'm going to bring our next ingredients over so that we can work on our next salad.
Great. Jessica, I love that you can actually store that and make it ahead. I'm thinking like make ahead meal prep. That's such a great idea. And it sounds like the crunch is going to hold up from all that.
Yes, that's one thing I do. One of my favorite things to do is to keep one of these kind of ready-made salads available so that you can just grab them out of the fridge for lunch or even for a snack. And then if you did want to use lettuce and make, kind of like a big crunchy salad, you can serve all this on top of greens too to make even, more lettuce kind of salad if that's what your preference is. Another thing.
You have one quick question. When you make the dressing, what is the red color liquid?
Oh, that was the red wine vinegar that I use. I'll show it to you again. So there's lots of different types of vinegars. This is just a red wine vinegar. There's a lot of different vinegars out there. This one just isn't as strong as like a balsamic vinegar, so it has more of a light flavor to add to this Greek salad. Another thing I didn't share about dressings is when you're eating out or if you're buying dressings that are already made, one of the things that can be really tricky with diabetes is one, it's the sodium, maybe you're trying to watch the sodium, but number two is there's often hidden sugars or added sugar in a lot of these salad dressings. And as you just saw, we can easily make a dressing ourselves if you have those ingredients. And it really helps us to be more in control over how much sugar gets added to things. I didn't add any sugar to that dressing, so it's completely a no added sugar dressing. Any other questions, Leah? Should we go to our next salad?
The next salad's great. No more questions.
All right, so we'll share the ingredients with this one as well. Our next salad, this is one of my favorites. It's called the Quinoa Power Salad. And the quinoa, there's actually a lot of ingredients in this. So there is some chopping, lots of fresh ingredients, lots of fresh flavor. So this Quinoa Power Salad is started with 1 cup of prepared quinoa. So uncooked quinoa, and then I cook it, and then it makes about 2 cups of quinoa. So we have that quinoa. We have cucumber again. So you see some of the cross use of the ingredients. So we're not having tons of ingredients. You can actually use some of these same ingredients to make other salads throughout the week. We have some parsley, some mint, again, that red onion. We have pistachios. We're going to use some chickpeas and lemons again, and then we'll make a dressing with the lemon and the olive oil. And then we can use that feta cheese again as well. So that's going to be in this salad. So let me show you how to assemble it. We saw those ingredients. To have in our bowl, we have that prepared quinoa. And quinoa is technically a seed, but it does have some carbs in it. This quinoa I love to use because quinoa is a great protein source. It's a great fiber source. It tastes really good. It has kind of a nutty, like earthy flavor, and it's very versatile. So I like to use it in a salad, and it can make a salad feel really hearty. So, and it's still really light and a nice healthy grain type of thing that we can add to our salad. We have the quinoa, and I cut up, here's our cucumbers. So I'm gonna add those cucumbers in. Those cucumbers add a really nice crunch. We have some chickpeas. These chickpeas are no added salt canned chickpeas. So you can buy them low sodium or no added salt. I always say try to look for the no added salt with low sodium canned options if you want those, if you don't cook them from dry. Again, another way to help with the convenience. It's quick, it's already done, but it allows us to watch that sodium or that salt. So I'm gonna add our chickpeas. This is just 1 can. And then we have about a 1/4 cup of feta. That's gonna go into our salad, lots of ingredients. And then our herbs. So if you have mint growing around your yard, sometimes mint grows like a weed and you can kind of just find it and pick it out. I actually pick the mint from the yard. So I have about a 1/2 cup of chopped up mint and then a 1/2 cup of chopped parsley. I'm gonna add that. This is where this salad gets a lot of that nice fresh bite when you're eating it. But again, we don't have any lettuce in the salad, but lots of freshness from the fresh herbs. And then we want some crunch. And so I have some pistachios that are just chopped up. So we'll get some good fiber, some good healthy fats, and some good crunch. I think a salad always needs something kind of crunchy. So I like to think, what can I add that crunch to, whether it be the nuts or the cucumbers or some snap peas? We add that to that salad. All right, so we have all that in. My hand that's quick rinse. Okay, and then next we're gonna add our we have red onion. Again, you could omit this if you don't want to use the red onion. I did the same trick that I did with the red onion before, is I soaked this red onion in water for about 30 minutes and then rinsed it all out. And that takes that strong red onion bite out of the salad. So put that all in. It's about a 1/4 cup of that sliced red onion. I always like to cut them a little kind of longer. So, you know, my kids, they sometimes pick them out, so they don't like those. So they're big enough where they're not super hidden. And then I'm gonna juice some lemons. And these lemons give the salad, I haven't added any salt to this, but these lemons add a lot of nice freshness. So it's gonna be about a 1.5 nice juicy lemons. And I'm just gonna squeeze the lemon juice right into the salad. I like to avoid dirtying more dishes if I can. So some of this stuff, we can just do it all in one bowl. So really the main work involved here is just the chopping. All right, so I got the other lemon here. That's going in. I'm gonna do one more. These are big lemons, but they don't fit super great into this juicer. There we go. All right. And then I'm gonna top it off with about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I kind of eyeball that, just dump that in. So that olive oil, nice healthy fat, along with those pistachios. One of the functions of that olive oil in this recipe or in the dressing is fat, like the olive oil, actually is a flavor carrier. So when you have a little bit of fat from the plant-based options in here, that's what's really gonna help carry a lot of this flavor in the salad. So I'm gonna give it a stir. I'm gonna come a little closer so that you can see what this looks like a little better. Hold it up. This salad is ready to eat right away. You can also let it sit and let those flavors marinate to really absorb into that quinoa. So that quinoa has some starch in it. And the longer it sits, that quinoa starts to really absorb that flavor. It tastes really good. It smells really good. You smell that mint, that parsley. We have the feta in here, that's chickpeas. So this is actually a very nice balanced meal. We have the protein from the chickpeas, we have protein from that quinoa, lots of vegetables. So it meets it has that healthy fat. So it meets that criteria when we're looking for a nice balanced meal. We want some protein, we want lots of vegetables, we want some healthy carb. So here we go, and there we have it. Look at that, how pretty that is.
Oh, yum, that looks so good.
All right.
Lots of textures again.
Yes, I like that textures. You know, another trick with quinoa when you are cooking it, because I know sometimes some of you out there maybe have not tried quinoa, or maybe aren't so sure how to prepare it. The way that you prepare quinoa, it's 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water. If you want to cook it in like a bone broth or some vegetable broth to add a little more flavor to the quinoa, you can do that. But you can just cook it, you boil your water and you add the broth, you add your quinoa, and you cook it, you simmer it with a lid on it for about 12 to 15 minutes. And then it absorbs that liquid and then it's done and you could just let it sit. And then what I like to do when quinoa is done, because when it's warm, it really can absorb flavor very quickly. So I'll squeeze some lemon on it, or if I make a dressing, I'll pour maybe half of the dressing on that quinoa and let it sit. And then you could add the rest of your salad ingredients that way. So that's a nice little tip that you can use if you're experimenting or using quinoa with other dishes too. All right, I'll move that one over to the side. Are we ready for our next salad?
These are all so easy to assemble too. I feel like this makes meal prepping such a breeze. I love it.
Yes, this is actually going to be my meal prep for the rest of the week. All right, let me move over our next ingredients. All right, this is another one that I really like. And I had to use a big bowl for this one. So this is our Mediterranean cabbage salad. So our ingredients are listed here. So we have our dressing, and our dressing is gonna have the Dijon mustard, some garlic, some two limes, some olive oil, and then I'm using a spice called sumac. It's a Mediterranean or Middle Eastern spice that's used in that type of cooking. And so we're going to use that in the salad here. I bought the cabbage already shredded, so it saves some of that work on the chopping. And then we have some shredded carrots. We'll use some green onions and bell peppers, some radishes, and then we have, again, that parsley, some dill, and then we have some toasted sliced almonds for this salad. Okay. So I'm going to show you here. This is about 4 cups of pre-shredded cabbage. And then I added in some shredded carrots to the salad. So already you see all that, lots of color, lots of nice volume here in that salad. But this is not a salad where we're using the greens that are just going to wilt. So cabbage can actually sit for a couple days and still stay really crunchy and good after you sit. So this is a good one where you could make ahead and it's almost better the next day. All right, and what we are going to add to our Mediterranean cabbage salad, here are our ingredients. I have 1 red bell pepper that is chopped up. That's going to add lots of crunch. Is anyone out there a fan of radishes? Radishes, I feel like sometimes we don't use them very often, or I don't see them a lot in a lot of recipes, but radishes have a really nice flavor. They're really crunchy. So I have about 5 radishes and I thinly slice them. And we'll add those to our salad.
I like how intentional you are around the way that you slice all the veggies for size and texture and shape.
Yeah, so it's also, I think it's nice to be able to fit everything on a fork. When they're too big, it's a little harder to eat, but it also looks really nice and mix it all in together too. And then again, like I like to incorporate my kids involved in the kitchen. So when I have a lot of things to chop, it's a fun way to get them involved because they'll come in and they'll want to chop. So my daughter helped. They chopped the Kalamata olives, they chopped the cucumbers, they chopped the bell pepper, and they helped chop the radish too. So when you have some good choppers around, it makes it a little easier. I'm going to add 2 green onions. Those are just sliced very thinly, the whites as well. And then here's that parsley. And you've seen that I've used the parsley in that quinoa salad, the quinoa power salad as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that in here. So lots of flavor, lots of crunch already. And then we're going to make our dressing. So in the bowl here, so our dressing ingredients are the sumac, the garlic, and the Dijon mustard. So I have the sumac, the garlic, and the Dijon mustard already in my bowl here. And then I'm going to add 2 juiced limes. If you don't have limes, and grab my juicer. If you don't have limes, you can always use lemons, or you can omit them and then use another acid. So you can use some white vinegar, you could use a red wine vinegar. I think that's one of the nice things about salads is you don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to follow the recipes exactly how they are. You really just use the ingredients that you have. It's okay to leave some of them out or make some substitutions based on what you have at home. So I'm going to squeeze in our lime. Maybe 4 of them. These are much easier than those big lemons I was trying to fit into here a few minutes ago. All right, it smells really good because of that garlic mixing up with that mustard. All right, I'm gonna give it a little stir real quick. And then I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. Again, to this one, it's the same amount of olive oil I used in our Greek salad. All right.
Oh, Jessica, you have a question. Someone's wondering if you can substitute something else for the sumac.
Yeah, so I actually didn't have sumac when I first was experimenting with this recipe, and then I actually found the sumac. I had to go to a different grocery store to find it. But you can use like a za'atar spice, you can use cumin, you can actually not use any spice at all. You could use a Mediterranean blend, you can use oregano. I think really think about what type of flavors do you like. If you like something really herby or earthy, you can throw that in. Sumac is used in that in a lot of the Mediterranean or the Middle Eastern cooking. And since it was a Mediterranean cabbage salad, I was trying to incorporate some of those Mediterranean spices. The sumac has a really vibrant, like lemony or tart, a little bit of fruity type of flavor, and it's really pretty because it's kind of a red color. But really, you can use a lot of those different spices in here. All right, so I'm going to add that dressing in. So I'm going to give you a peek at the salad. So this is another really colorful salad. Let me give that a mix here. This is one where I would say it's a good one to make ahead of time if you're going to bring it to a barbecue or with some friends, or if you're gonna eat dinner a little bit later or lunch. This one tastes better after you let it really sit for about 30 minutes or so, because it gives that lettuce or that cabbage some time to soften up a little bit, and then all those flavors to really absorb. All right. I love how this one looks. I almost forgot the last ingredient because it's over there on the stove. Let me show it to you. All right, I'm going to show this to you here. So see all that nice, beautiful color. I'm going to grab a plate so you can see what it's going to look like on a plate. So it'll look really, really nice. Our last ingredient. I think you've kind of heard my theme so far. I love the crunch in salads. So what we have for this salad, which is really going to add even more crunch, some more healthy fat and some good fiber, I actually toasted about 1 cup of thinly sliced almonds. I bought these almonds, they're already thinly sliced. See if I can show you up there. And I toasted them. If you have never toasted the almonds that you have or walnuts, I recommend trying to do it because it really gives a really nice nutty, earthy flavor when we toast the almonds or walnuts and then add them to the salad. So you can kind of, let me pick one out that's, try to show a little closer. It gets a little like very light brown color, and that's how you know it's toasted. When you're doing this, you want to toast your almond on kind of a low heat on the stove, because if you do it too high, they can burn very easily. And it's always really discouraging when you burn, big portion of almonds or whatever nuts you might be toasting. And you want to just gradually give it a little stir, and don't leave the pan, because that's when you get into that burning category. So just sit there, stir it. It takes about 4 minutes or so to get them all nice and toasty, and then let them cool. And then we just add them to our salad. I actually like to toast them. I toast them in kind of big portions, and then I'll just leave them in a jar, and then I can top them with other meals throughout the week too. I'm gonna give this one a good stir. It smells really good, and it's a very pretty salad. You bring this to anyone, they will just say, wow, I actually brought this salad to a group of friends, and they all thought I bought it from Whole Foods or from a store. And I was like, no, I made it. Let me show you what this looks like. It looks like a very professional salad. Not your average salad. All right. This one too, you can use this as a meal, but you can also just use it as a side. Let me show what that looks like. Look how good that looks. Nice crunch, lots of nice fresh flavors in here. We have the fresh herbs, we have those almonds, we have those radishes, a lot of different flavors, but they all meld really well together in this dish. All right, so there is our Mediterranean cabbage salad, which is going to taste better in about 30 minutes after I let it sit, and then we can enjoy it. All right, so I want to show you now all together what we just made. Again, no cooking, not a lot of dishes. It's mostly a cutting board, chopping, and then our bowls to mix. So we have made, let's see if I can bring these back here, 3 really good salads that do not have any lettuce in them. These are not your average, salads, but we have here is our fresh Greek salad. We have our quinoa power salad, and then we have our Mediterranean cabbage salad. So I hope any of you, if you've had got some inspiration, or maybe want to try something new, or a new spice, or using quinoa, I hope this helped you maybe get some new ideas for making your own salads at home.
Oh my gosh, those all look so great, and you made them so quickly. And I love how you leveraged getting cabbage shredded, almonds slivered. So some things you chopped at home, some things you ordered, just to make it easier. This is great. You do have a couple of questions. Somebody's asking where you got the recipes from.
So I don't have a specific resource where I got the recipes from. When I'm looking up recipes, I will maybe just look up a quinoa recipe, or I'll search a Greek salad, and then I'll just kind of cater it to the ingredients that I like to use. Some of my favorite resources to find some good recipes are oldwayspt.com. So that's oldptways.org, excuse me. That's a really nice resource of a lot of plant-based Mediterranean style recipes. And so that's one of my favorite resources. I also like eatingwell.com for some great salad recipes too. And then Leah, if you have any great resources where you like to look up things too, we can share those as well.
Yeah, I really like the Eat Well, and you can specify different things like heart healthy or carb controlled. So I like looking at those and looking at reviews. Somebody is also asking, I'm not quite sure how to answer this, but do you worry about someone having a reaction to sumac, like poison ivy?
Oh, that's a really good question. So there's different types of sumac. The one that is considered poisonous is like it's a white looking one, and that one's not the one that is going to be used as a spice. So the one that's used as a spice that you purchase is not from the poisonous plant.
Oh, great. I've definitely learned something new as well. And then some people are asking to repost the recipes, and so I can do that. Right when we finish, I'll go through each of the recipes on the screen, and you all can take a picture. We can also send you the recipes. Jessica made beautiful recipe cards of her recipes to the people who are participating today.
Great. Back to that first question about where we get the recipes. Another thing that I do when I have ingredients, like what can I do with this, is like the way I kind of designed this cabbage salad is I actually had a bunch of cabbage at home, and I was like, what do I do with this? And I just looked up, I usually will do a Google search, and I wrote healthy Mediterranean cabbage recipes. And then I'll just kind of filter through and I'll read what recipes are around, and then I'll just kind of mix and match different things with what I have at home. And that's usually how I come up with some of the recipes. And then that's where I said you don't have to follow recipes exactly to the T. It's okay to be experimental and use what you have. And if you don't have sumac, or if you don't have, red wine vinegar, you could just use other substitutions, and it's probably going to turn out really well.
Yeah, great suggestions. I also really like how you're thinking about the flavors that you like, your flavor profiles, and the question around sumac earlier. I think that that's great. One of the participants is asking, is it oldwayspt.org, you said?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one where it's all Mediterranean type of style recipes.
Great. People are already finding it. That's excellent. Are there any other questions before I put the recipes back up and we give a final big thank you to Jessica? Any other questions? You're getting a lot of that looks delicious, and thank you so much. I feel like our next Food Network star is being born today at Stanford. Thank you so much, Jessica. I feel like you just whipped up those salads so quickly, and they look so good, and love how you highlighted the textures and the flavors. So now I'll just highlight the recipes from Jessica's PowerPoint, and then we'll end the webinar. Thank you all so much.
Thank you everyone for your questions. Thanks for tuning in, and go ahead and try these salads and let us know how they turn out.
So here's the fresh Greek salad, the first one that Jessica did. She'll show you. And then the next one, the quinoa power salad. So if you can take a picture of this screen or you'll get the email. And then finally, Jessica's Mediterranean cabbage salad. Great. And then people are just saying great presentation. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next month, second Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. I think we have somebody speaking about her journey with type 1 diabetes and being an athlete. Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Have a great evening. Bye.